You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 223. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Hunter, the Girl of Steel. You know, my life is a constant round of super action and danger.
Okay.
That's a quote from our next story.
Yeah, okay. Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhouse. You can find our show and other cool content at theouthousers.com. And if you enjoy this show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
Okay.
Yes.
Superman.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some Superman stories today, beginning with Superman number 123, cover dated August of 1958, cover art by Kurt Swan and Stan K.
Okay.
And on this cover, we have a Supergirl and Superman.
Yeah. It is not the Supergirl.
Yeah, that's right. This predates her by not a long time, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into this in a minute.
It does have the same outfit, though.
Well, yeah. And it's funny, like, I think they decided that's a good look. It is almost identical to the one that the real Supergirl would end up with. And then I'm thinking, like, at the late Silver Age and in the 70s, she changed costumes, like, a lot, very frequently, and quite drastically. But that's a whole other ball of yarn.
I think the classic is the best.
Well, you think that about everything.
Yeah.
It's typically true, but...
I think it's true in this.
In this...
I'm not sure how she's dressed now, to tell you the truth. So.
I haven't read it, current Supergirl in a while, but it's similar to the classic look, but a little more, updated for whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, the lead story we're going to talk about today, actually it's three stories kind of woven together. It's the Three Magic Wishes, and the part one is called The Girl of Steel. And this entire issue in all three parts were written by Otto Binder, penciled by Dick Sprang, and inked by Stan K.
Okay. All right. Superman is saving some people in a flood. He builds a huge raft to get them to safety. And Lois parachutes down, but her parachute doesn't work. She's saved by Superman. And she thinks, well, you saved me so much. Why don't we just get married? And says, I don't want to have this life of super action and danger. I can't get married.
Yeah.
Poor Lois.
Yeah.
My wife was...
Your wife?
My wife
okay.
was... she was kind of ticked off at Superman's not marrying her. So.
Well, yeah, but that's a thing. So,
yeah.
So with Jimmy Olsen's thinking, or talking to Superman, what's going on there?
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen sees it. So I wish Superman says, "I need a super girl," because So
yeah,
and that is true because people attack Lois Lane because.
Right, it's like if you can't hurt Superman, you could definitely hurt him through his friends or his loved ones. So, logically speaking, it would make sense for Superman could be with a super powered female who could protect herself. Yeah. So, like in the current comics, he is with Wonder Woman. A lot of people have complaints about it because it, for whatever reason. But narratively, it kind of mucks up some things. Taking away a lot of tension and stuff, but from like a practical standpoint, it's like, well, duh.
Yeah.
And then they could go on super adventures together.
Right.
They could be the ultimate powered couple. So.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Superman says he wants a Supergirl, and then Jimmy says,
oh, he rescues Jimmy, who is trapped in like a mine or something with this archaeologist who has collected all this Native American artifacts.
Yeah, and he gives Jimmy this oddly phallic
talisman or whatever.
And like it's going to be
there's a legend around it.
Yeah, that every 100 years it will grants 3 wishes.
Yeah, you rub it under a full moon and you can grant a wish 3 times. So Jimmy selflessly wishes a Supergirl into existence to be Superman's partner and companion, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So Supergirl appears,
and she helps Superman.
Yeah.
And sometimes it causes a little bit of friction. She's really hot for Superman. He says, tone it down a bit.
Well, because they
fast.
just met, you just came into existence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know he's wise to do that. You know,
right. Mm-hmm. And Lois is really sad, but and then she looks at the talisman and says, "Oh, luckily it's in English, but she can."
There's a thing she can reverse a wish.
Right.
And she realizes what a wicked thought that is because this is Superman's chance for happiness. So she doesn't do it and she cries.
Yeah, everyone's doing selfless stuff here. It's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
And there'll happen more in this issue. So she helps out, and then they have accidents because they're working together. Two super beings.
And she's so new, like the coordinating doesn't quite work, and she causes more trouble than help. Actually.
Yeah, there's a great. They both go after this elevator and they bonk each other in the head.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to bring that one up particularly, but yeah, that's just funny.
Yeah. So Superman lets
Supergirl take over, so he can have days off and stuff, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. And he's walking around with Lois as Clark Kent, and Supergirl comes by and says, "Hey, Superman." And I was in, isn't that one of the first things you tell somebody that you
know, don't tell my secret?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just assumed it was a given. Like, what? But since she was born yesterday, you know, she doesn't know all the practical things. So it creates some problems.
Mm-hmm. And Superman tells her off, and she's really sad.
Yeah. So also now Lois knows he's Superman, so he's got to find a way to fool her into thinking it was not true.
Right.
But we'll get to that later.
So there's a railroad bridge that's out, and Superman's holding it up, and these bad guys come in a plane with kryptonite and
drop it, and it gets wedged in the railroad ties, and Superman is weakened.
Mm-hmm.
So Supergirl swings by and says, "Well, since I didn't really, I was created by magic, kryptonite won't harm me." And so she grabs the kryptonite and flies away, so Superman can save it.
Yeah.
But in actuality, she's perfectly Kryptonian in every way, and so the kryptonite will kill her. And so she's sick and dying, and she has Jimmy undo the wish, so it wishes her out of existence.
Right. And rather selfless act again.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. Because a lot of times they're really, especially Lois, can be mean and nasty.
Yeah, I think in the 50s, these stories, I think we'll notice a shift as we go through these volumes. This is the late 50s, and Lois is still kind of, she isn't the conniving Lois just yet, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And she still has her hair kind of quite a bit longer, so I like this Lois a bit more too.
I do too, yeah. Many reasons. So how does Superman get out of this? He has Clark propose marriage to Lois.
And she, what is it? Then it kind of does a reverse psychology. Well,
yeah. If he was Superman, he wouldn't propose.
So she knows it couldn't be Clark, which is so flimsy.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he does say, I figured she'd reject Clark, but what if she had accepted? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then we have this cool picture of Jimmy Olsen. I'd love to have this as a T-shirt or a painting.
What's that?
He's looking at the talisman. What should I think of to help Superman?
Well, let's find out in the next part. It's called The Lost Superpowers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. We see Jimmy helping Superman because Superman has a cold and Jimmy's putting hot water
in the splash panel. It's Superman's lost his powers.
Yeah.
So we get into the meat of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so Superman can get a cold. That's so funny. But in the beginning of the story, Jimmy's reading the newspaper, and he's remembering how the Supergirl thing with the magic totem. I love how magic creates a Supergirl is a real newspaper headline.
Would it be?
I don't know.
Superman would probably be on the front page about every day for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then people get tired of him.
Yeah. But anyway, some robbers, because they've read the newspaper story, some criminals break into Jimmy's apartment and steal the talisman.
Yeah, no one could see this coming. Yes. I mean, he should be in Fort Knox, Jimmy. Oh, another thing about him, Superman getting married, his friends are already targets. Jimmy Olsen's a target. He's not married to Jimmy,
Right.
And he's always saving Lois and Perry. Those are the big ones. And
and people know he's Superman. Jimmy's Superman's pal.
yeah,
You would think that I don't know, Metallo or Brainiac would be like, or just it'd be like underworld hoods, but would be rubbing out Jimmy to get
right.
or kidnapping him all the time.
Well, they kind of do.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they use Jimmy all the time. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
You might as well be marrying Lois.
Yeah.
Okay, so they steal it, and then they wish Superman would
Lose his powers.
Although, I would have wished for a boatload of money myself.
Or wouldn't you, if you want to get Superman out of the way, why don't you just wish him to be dead? Why would you wish him to be powerless?
Yeah,
It's kind of stupid.
true. Although it makes a good comic book. So.
Right. But I mean, I just think, like, what is the simplest solution to the problem? Occam's razors. Oh, wish for Superman to be dead.
Yeah. Although, if you're rich, I mean, Superman's not going to go after you if you retire from crime.
Right.
And you get a boatload of money, you got enough.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah,
Like, you could, I wish to be rich beyond the dreams of avarice, and then, like, I don't have to do any illegal stuff.
Yeah.
Superman's not going to come after you. That's also a very good point.
I mean, he's not going to come after you for tax evasion. So.
Well, it'd be great if he did.
Yeah.
Superman, the enforcer for the IRS.
Yes. You need to redo this 1040A.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So Superman can, all right, without his powers, he can't find the talisman because it's been hidden.
Right. He can't see through anything, can't fly, he's not strong. He doesn't have any powers.
So the crooks pretend to be reporters and they want to make sure he has no powers.
And so, but they've got, do they have cameras that are really guns?
No, they have cameras. So there's a pistol club, and
Superman was going to volunteer at this.
And he volunteers, and Jimmy jumps over a fence with a bulletproof vest, and the reporters, who are actually criminals, say, "Ha ha, we caught you." So they make him take off his shirt.
And then they're going to fire at Superman, and I think they're going to kill him. But Jimmy, hidden nearby, has a giant magnet to pull the bullets away so they don't hit him.
Is lead magnetic?
I guess.
No, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think it's just so crazy. He's just stood over there. Nobody notices he's got a big magnet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's behind a big rock.
Yeah,
and they're shooting at a big rock. You don't shoot at rocks because they'll come back at you. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Okay, so here's another super one. They got Superman flying because Jimmy has this invisible pole that Superman's riding on top of, and
yeah, because it was like for a parade or something like that. And these people think that Superman's on cables, so they try to cut a cable, and there isn't one. But yeah, Superman was on this glass pole, which it's just because it's translucent doesn't mean you can't see it.
Right, and man, that's going to be heavy. I mean, if he weighs 180 pounds,
right,
pole, cuts through metal, and in front of and behind it, Jimmy's with a acetylene torch.
Right. Superman's always doing these things to like demonstrate his powers in public. There's like a shooting gallery, and what was it? What was Superman going to use his powers on? Super breath.
Yeah.
And so Emmy's got a compressed air thing that's blowing him down.
Right.
And then there's a math problem he's going to do, and so Jimmy has a calculating machine behind it.
Doesn't he have better things to do?
Jeez.
Although I can see
these are things keeping up appearances. No, Superman definitely still has his powers, even though he doesn't. So then the bad guys have some kryptonite, right?
Right. So they said, well, this thing flopped, so we'll get him with kryptonite. And Superman's not affected.
Because without his powers, that kryptonite won't hurt him?
Yeah. Kryptonite, eh? Nice specimen. And they just totally shocked.
And so, what do they get?
They get captured.
Captured and sent to jail.
And then Jimmy called the police. I guess.
And then Jimmy undoes the second wish.
Mm-hmm.
So
what is he going to do for the third wish?
I don't know. Let's find out in Superman's Return to Krypton.
Yep. So Jimmy's talking to Superman, and Superman says, "You've been unselfish to throw away your wishes on me. Why don't you use a last wish for yourself, Jimmy?" So he said, "No, I made up my mind. I'm going to help you out." So Superman looks at some pictures of Krypton, and says, "I'd like to see them again." So, oh, great. So
Jimmy wishes that Superman would get to meet his parents,
and he types it on a typewriter,
which is weird.
Well, he doesn't want Superman to hear him say the words.
Oh, but he mistypes and says "mate"
instead of "make." Meet.
Yeah.
So
Superman travels to Krypton, but he's like a phantom there.
Right. And so he sees Jor-El and goes to his home.
Yeah.
And it's not his home. And this is before they got married.
Right. And so he says Jor-El meet up with Lara.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they meet up at Kill-Lore.
Yeah. Which is really awkward to say. Kill-Lore, Kill-Lore. But he's an evil Kryptonian.
I didn't even notice there's a swastika.
Where?
Behind them.
Oh yeah. I didn't notice that until just now either.
Yeah, they're making a Nazi salute, which is actually the American salute, and which is actually the Roman salute.
Okay.
But
anyway, they're making allusions to Nazi Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's real bad news. Kill-Lore is, going to be an evil dictator.
Yeah.
He wants to take over Krypton.
Right. So the KBI comes in and arrests
the Krypton Bureau of Investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jor-El says, "Well, I'm an agent," and then he shows his palm, and it supposedly has a number written there, but the radiation that's around erased it.
Right, and so because Jor-El was undercover to expose this plot to take over Krypton.
Yeah, and the only guy who knows about it just died.
How convenient.
Yeah.
So it's a real problem. Jor-El and Lara are going to, go to prison or something. This is before the Phantom Zone is a thing.
Mm-hmm. So the way they punish people is that there's some kind of device that sucks the evil out of them, but it takes about 100 years. So they put them in suspended animation and let them float around space for 100 years.
Which is weird.
Well, not a bad thing if this works. But
because I remember Krypton did not have the death penalty.
Right. I wouldn't put them up in this space because Krypton is like the most visited planet of all time, except for Earth. And so I would put them in a salt mine or something, so we can guard them. But that's just me.
Right.
Superman saves them, takes them to but once Superman gets out of Krypton, he becomes corporeal.
Corporeal, yeah.
Is that pronounced? Okay. And he can move the satellite to a planetoid. And they get on there, and
because it has a lesser gravity, they have superpowers on this.
Yep. And Kill-Lore escapes, and they start a huge fight.
Yeah, Superman, it's in a stalemate on this planet with Kill-Lore because they're both superpowered.
Mm-hmm.
But Superman, throughout their battle, it just rages on and on. They're using fossilized bones to hit each other and stuff, and throw rocks. But Superman comes up with a plan, talking to Jor-El, that he intentionally has Kill-Lore over here, eavesdrop on.
Yeah.
And it's some BS plan to create a destructive force that you could conquer Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
But so Kill-Lore implements it, and he's hitting these two kinds of rocks together will create a destructive force. And so he does it, and it accidentally creates kryptonite, which Superman tricked him into duplicating the conditions that created that substance. And so he causes this guy to die of kryptonite poisoning.
Yeah, I guess he didn't kill him, but he
tricked him into killing himself.
Right.
Which is okay.
Well, the guy's a new Hitler, so I'm not going to shed any tears for him. But
he did have a plan where the end result is this guy is dead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so take that how you will. But then the radiation marking shows back up on Jor-El's hand, so they can exonerate himself, so they can go back to Krypton, and Jor-El and Lara decide to get married.
Yeah, cool. And Superman comes back and he thanks Jimmy.
Yeah,
but it's nice.
I like these stories where Superman travels back in time and goes back to Krypton.
I do too. I'm never disappointed. So
they're pretty fun. Yeah. So let's talk about this next issue. We're just going to talk about it's Action Comics number 243, cover dated August of 1958. So this and that issue of Superman would run on the stands the same month. A cover art by Kurt Swan and penciled by Kurt Swan rather, and inked by Stan K.
Yeah.
And this is that famous Superman is a lion.
I've seen that so many times.
Yeah.
And on the covers, I never read it, and
it's been reprinted. I think they did put it in the 80-page Giants and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's fantastic. I really love this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the story is called "The Lady and the Lion."
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only story from this issue we'll talk about is the Superman one. There would be, and that's the only one that's reprinted in this book.
Mm-hmm.
We were going from the showcase volumes. But in the original issue, there was a Tommy Tomorrow backup story, and Tommy Tomorrow, who is the adult Commandy. And I can't remember another feature. Oh, Congo Bill.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Superman's at the circus, and he's putting his head inside a lion's mouth, and he gets a plaque from these happy people. Who are these?
I don't know, orphans or something.
Yeah, something
from an orphanage.
So he goes to Fortress of Solitude, and he says, I'm going to have to expand my trophy room."
Oh man.
And it's just a plaque,
right?
Crying out loud.
But here we go again with DC Comics and the obsession with trophies and souvenirs.
Mm-hmm.
And I will note, okay, remember in our last episode we were talking about the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
I noted when they did the cutaway of the inside of the Baxter Building, there was a small thing that said trophy room, but I never heard it referenced.
Yeah,
Marvel just doesn't lean on that trope, which is good. Let DC do it. I like a different.
Oh, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Let it be the DC thing.
Yeah.
Marvel comics are about feelings and punching, okay, and DC comics are about Jimmy Olsen marrying an ape, and that's the way I like it.
Right. Yeah. He looks at crying out loud.
The Bottle City of Candor.
Yeah, they don't mention the name. But he's looking at that and says, "It can never be restored to normal size." That's kind of downer.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like late 70s or the very early 80s when they actually did restore it to that.
Mm-hmm. So apparently everyone's okay on Earth except in Greece, where this girl is about to be crushed by falling
ruins, like in an old Greek temple.
So he goes to Greece, and then finds out she is a descendant of the original Circe.
Yeah.
Who's in the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Turns people into pigs, I think there.
Yeah, turns men into pigs and birds. Yeah.
But she's not a witch. She is
an alien.
Yeah, space lady.
Yeah.
Something. So she gets him to drink water. I wouldn't drink anything around her. So.
Right. And then she says she wants you to marry me, Superman. And she's like, oh. Superman just takes off, says, nope, gotta go.
He says, glove. And then she tells him that you drank something in the water, and it's going to make you change to the creature that is you're most like.
And so he becomes a lion. I forgot to mention this story was written by Otto Binder, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan K.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Superman's become this lion man. Well, what am I going to do?
Yeah, and there are so many drawings of a lion face. It's really kind of interesting. Really well done, and it does show surprise and sadness.
Wayne Boring is really good with facial expressions, and not everyone is. And he's kind of, everybody talks about Kurt Swan, but I really like Wayne Boring a lot too.
Yeah, the picture of Lion Superman taking off his clothes becomes Superman, or
opening the shirt.
Yeah, just awesome. Man. And
So he talks to Perry White.
yeah, and Perry White's scared and all this, and everyone's freaking out. So Cersei gave him some time to get back on that day, and he comes back, she's already gone.
Right.
So Superman is kind of bummed out that he's ugly, lying, and all this stuff. So he goes into the ground and comes up in Jimmy's room.
I think it's so crazy. He burrows under the ground because he didn't want to be seen, and then bursts through the floor at Jimmy's house, which is awesome.
Yeah. So
And so Perry White had told Jimmy what happened, and so he's trying to help Superman.
yeah. So Lois comes in. She's thinking about how handsome Superman is, and hey, Superman. And he turns around and he's a lion, and she's freaked out. But another nice thing she does is goes with him to go see a play.
And then she's like, duh, the wrong play. It's Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I love how sad he is.
Yeah.
And it's really well drawn, and it's really cool that he doesn't want to be a lion-headed man. And I don't know. Remember the famous Jimmy Olsen where he... the first animal he looks at, he's going to be like. So he says, "I want to be a lion, so women will lionize me."
Yeah.
And he turns into Porcupine Boy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah. What I think is weird about this is... Actually, I totally forgot while you were saying that.
Oh.
So never mind. We'll just carry on, and maybe I'll think of it.
Mm-hmm. So Lois is really sad that she chose this play.
Oh, now I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Put a pin in that, but I think it's about Superman being sad. It's like he does so much for other people, but everyone loves him for it, and he at least has that. There's a tremendous weight of being Superman. He's got to be busy doing stuff all the time for people.
Super action.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh man, now I'm gonna be a lion guy,
Yeah.
And of course he's still like, obviously he has his responsibility to be Superman, but just like he can't even pretend to be a real guy like he does when he's Clark.
Yeah, so he can't go. So Superman can no longer go see a movie or get a hot dog.
Yeah,
or,
it's like,
or a baseball game without people crowding him.
Clark exists so that Superman can have some semblance of a normal life and live like regular men, and that has been taken away from him here. And the sorrow that Superman is feeling here is like, oh man, really intense.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. Lois kisses him.
Hoping that maybe like magic,
like in the play,
yeah,
turn into a real person, but it doesn't work.
Yeah,
and that's really nice of Lois.
Yeah,
I like the nice Lois.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Although the sassy one's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So Superman goes to the zoo and he puts his head through so kids can put their mouth into his jaws, which okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So, let's see.
So there's a lion tamer whose lion is sick, and then Superman fills in for the lion. And it's, he helps the lion tamer get some great job or something in the movies. And then he goes and sees some, film directors or something like that and saves them from an actual lions attacking in the wild.
Here's some. He's happy talking about the lion tamer, even if I'm not. So I thought that was pretty cool. So he beats up the mean lion who's in charge, and then
this is in the jungle.
Yeah, in the jungle, and the other lions elect him to be king lion, and he sees this other lion who wants to be king, so he runs off.
Yeah,
and that's that one. So, it's pretty. I love his expression of "No, I don't want to be messed with."
Right.
Yeah. Man, but
so Superman goes back to the Fortress of Solitude. Okay.
Yeah.
And how does he?
Okay, so he's walking around and he goes by his. What is this?
Is it the Candor? The bottle of City of Candor?
No, it's some kind of. It's a special kryptonite detector. So that's what it is.
Okay.
And it goes off and says, "Oh, kryptonite must be coming from me." So Cersei is Kryptonian, and so if there's kryptonite, he can fix it, and he does science.
So the formula, or the thing she made him drink, was some kind of red kryptonite, maybe. because that always has different results. And so he finds an antidote, and he goes and you explain this.
He gets the antidote. I think he gets some help from Kandor as well.
But he goes back to the Daily Planet with his cape over his head.
All right.
And he's asked for another kiss from Lois to see if it'll help. And she's surprised that he's back to normal.
Yeah. And he kisses her because she deserves a kiss because she kissed him even when he was an ugly.
Yeah. And they're both being very sweet to each other in this.
And I thought that was really nice.
And there's a lot of other stories where he's like, ha-ha, playing a foolie on her because, whatever she has that, kind of not very nice rivalry with Lana or whatever, or always trying to expose his identity or always trap him in marriage. But one thing that's weird, though, okay, Cersei's Kryptonian, but then it's like never referred to again. Like there's just another Kryptonian out there?
Yeah, true. And that'd be kind of interesting because I don't know if she uses magic or not. I think
probably super science that seems like magic.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's a thing that happens a lot.
All right. So it's another convoluted story.
Yeah. So we've got another issue of Superman. This is number 124, cover dated September of 1958. And the cover art was penciled by Kurt Swan and inked by Stan Kay.
Okay.
So the lead story on the cover, Superman's fighting this Black Knight, who has got a magic sword, and it's injured Superman.
Yeah.
Because we know Superman's vulnerable to magic.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead story in this issue is called The Super Sword, and this is all about this. Now, this was written by Jerry Coleman with art by Al Plastino.
Okay. All right. Perry White is going on vacation, so he puts Lois Lane in charge.
Yeah.
And they're really happy that they're putting Bull Matthews, another criminal, which the only thing about Superman sometimes is boring criminals.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with Mort Weisinger's logic of, well, I don't want every issue to be about the world's strongest man against the world's second strongest man.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But a little more of that would be pretty okay with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because he has a lot of like one-off guys who temporarily gain powers and then Superman has to fight them. But I like a lot of these trick stories, but a little more of just supervillain slugfests are like that would be cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. So. This ship has found a knight in
Frozen in Ice.
Frozen in Ice.
Like Captain America. No.
Right.
But this is before that, of course, because it's 1958. And that's Lois and Clark heard this over the radio.
Yeah. So Superman checks it out, and there's a guy, and he wakes up, and he's a Black Knight. Yeah. And he was Merlin had caused him to be put under for centuries.
Yeah.
So the Black Knight escapes and starts stealing stuff and
robbing places and things. Mm-hmm. And nobody can stop him because he's got the magic sword.
Yeah. Superman comes out and tries to stop him, and he gets stabbed, and he has to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Now, meanwhile, that criminal Bull Matthews is reading the papers and like, oh, this is great. If I can get that magic sword, Superman won't have to be able to put me back to jail.
Yeah. And Bull Matthews somehow accidentally or on purpose, or I don't know if he had anything to do with it, but the proof that he was a bad guy got burnt up.
Oh, right.
So he got out of it.
He got off scot-free. So he's going to just go back to crime, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So after Superman confronts the Black Knight and was wounded with him by a sword, Superman has to go to the hospital and stuff, and the Black Knight continues his rampage.
Mm-hmm.
And the press are really on Superman's case. Like, are you gonna?
Oh, there's this wonderful thing, little vignettes of there's this British guy says, "Oh, what a disgrace to British soil."
Because of the Black Knight.
Mm-hmm. And someone took there's a movie sign that says real movie shots and invulnerable Superman and taking off the I am.
Right.
Come on. The End of a Legend is another newspaper.
Oh, man. Yeah. But so anyway, Bull Matthews meets up with the Black Knight and says, hey, I'll give you $30,000 if you'll let me borrow that sword for a day. He says, okay.
Yeah.
And then, with the sword, Bo Matthews rips off a place so he can pay for borrowing the sword, and Superman meets him, and he, at least it appears as though he's killed Superman.
Yep. But he is dead.
So once he meets up with the Black Knight to meet the payoff, Superman swoops back in, and Bo Matthews is really confused. I thought I killed you. But it was all a foolie. The whole Black Knight shtick was a ruse to trick Bo Matthews into committing more crimes so he could be caught.
Yeah. Well, paying someone money for a weapon to try to kill somebody is against the law.
Right.
So the Black Knight comes in.
Technically, so is entrapment, which this is.
You can't entrap somebody. I mean, if a bull didn't come by and offer money, it wouldn't happen.
I mean, he created a situation where Bull would do a criminal thing. They didn't force him into doing it. So okay. But anyway, it's revealed that there was no magic sword. It was collapsible. Everything was a trick, along with the media and everything, to draw Bo Matthews out. And the Black Knight was actually Perry White.
Yeah. Oh, and here is Clark winking at the reader. I like it when he breaks the fourth wall.
Well, and you remember the Christopher Reeve Superman movies? He'd do that at the end when he does the flyby.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I guess he nods.
In at least one of them, but yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we just had a good time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool.
All right.
I don't like the way Jimmy's drawn. It's kind of a little goofy.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Can't have everything. Yeah. So the first of two backup stories is called Mrs. Superman, and it was written by Otto Binder, penciled and inked by Kurt Schaffenberger.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Clark and Lois come from overseas. They're in a helicopter. They're flying over an island, and they get hit by a meteor.
Of course.
They're right, because it lands on the Earth.
Is it a meteor, or is it from a volcanic eruption? Oh, it is a meteor. Okay.
The meteor goes into a volcano.
Oh, okay. That's what I get confused. And so the meteor contained kryptonite. And the volcano goes off, and it creates a cloud of like kryptonite that's trapped Superman on this island.
Right.
And so Lois and Superman are on the island.
Yeah.
And it's in the Pacific.
And he says, I'm marooned for life. Then he says, well, poor Lois, I'll go ahead and marry her then.
Well, because that's what we want, pity.
Yeah, also he gives up really easy.
Yeah, it's like, just because there's the cloud of kryptonite doesn't mean you couldn't use your super breath to blow the cloud away.
Or if it rains.
Yeah.
As it does on tropical things. Or if there's a hurricane.
Yeah, clouds don't stay in one place.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it's sweet. He goes up to a tree and gets flowers for her.
Yeah.
And she's super happy.
And he reveals to her that, yes, Clark was always Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's they get the native chief to agree to marry them, and they'll get married in a week or a couple days or something.
Yeah. And just after that, the kryptonite meteorite sinks into the bowels of the Earth.
Yeah.
And so now he's okay. But now he's engaged to Lois,
right.
And he doesn't know what to do. Because now she knows that he is Clark.
So what he does is he goes and finds a sunken ship and takes equipment, like the machinery that made it go, and builds devices to demonstrate that it was all a foolie, that Clark didn't have superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all to make him basically Clark look like a rat, but to make it look like he wasn't Superman after all.
Yeah, my wife was really offended about that.
Really?
Yes, for crying out loud. It's
Is she reading? Is she reading these over your shoulder? Or?
No, I just told her what it's about. So. But they get rescued because he throws a note in a bottle and throws it at a passing ship.
Yeah, so they get rescued, and And it ends up with Lois being okay with both Clark and Superman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did the message in a bottle help her get a story or something? I got a little confused at the end.
Clark was worried about Lois because the Green Hand Gang was after her, but then they got arrested and put in the prison, so now it's safe. So Lois thinks that Superman
did that to keep him on the island so she'd be protected while Superman rounds up that gang. Right. Okay. See, we didn't talk about that in the opening of the story.
Yeah.
And so I forgot about it.
Yeah, I forgot about it too. So.
Okay.
Oh well.
So the last story in this issue and for this episode is called The Steeplejack of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written by Otto Binder, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan Kay. And this is a pretty cool one. I like this.
Yeah. Superman's running by this building and he hears cracking noises. He says, "Oh, this building is being built and it's using defective and cheap metal and concrete."
Yeah, because they want to save money. Because they're going to bilk the investors.
Right.
So Superman's going to go on site as a workman to expose them.
Kirk Brent.
Yeah. But the foreman, who is the scammer, notices that Kirk has no calluses on his hands, so he thinks he must be an inspector, that it's all a trick.
Yeah. I thought that was clever as hell.
Yeah, and so he's going to try and create either accidents or make it seem really dangerous, so Brent, or Superman in disguise, will leave and, not bother him.
Yeah.
Very clever plot.
Yeah, not bad at all. He takes Superman, or Kirk, to the very top of the building, and the wind almost knocks him over. And would the wind knock over Superman, or?
It's not like he's like super dense or super heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And also, maybe he could play it up like he can sense a heavy wind, and then he plays up and does some standing on his handstands or whatever up in the beams. So he does some acrobatics and shows that, oh, okay, I guess that's not going to faze him.
Nope. So he throws them hot
rivets, and then Superman catches them with his bare hands. But then he's like, oh crap, what am I going to do? Oh, he takes some asbestos and forms it into gloves. Mm-hmm. So it looks like he can carry it around. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's trying to. There's somebody behind the bad guy.
Right. He has a partner.
So he has to find that person before he puts the bad guy into the.
Well, right. He wants to bust them all.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Let's see. Some other things happen. They lower some I-beams on top of his head, and nothing happens because it's Superman.
Right.
And he finally figures out. Oh, he hears a guy talking to his boss. And he goes over the phone lines and figures out who it is.
Right.
And the big boss wants to kill Kirk Brent.
Yeah.
By pouring concrete on him, and they do just that. And then the body of Kirk Brent, encased in concrete, it rises up and scares him. And then Superman comes out and takes him up and
takes him to jail.
Right.
And then he reinforces the building so it'll actually be up to code and not shoddy materials. He completes the tower and the work. And then the people who commissioned the building to be made name it after Superman in his honor.
Yeah. In real life, I think there are probably a million billion things named after Superman.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, because, you say, I'll name
the Superman, strip mall or whatever.
Or Krypton Lane or something.
Sure. I mean, I think I've mentioned it before. Like, if there was a Superman, he would change the world forever.
Yeah.
I mean, in these comics, he does all these nice things for people, but there's no, huge cultural or technological impact. And there really would be.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole paradigm of society would change.
I think Superman, being a nice guy, would get rid of some, at least, find some cures.
Yeah. For societal ills.
Right. I mean, well, no, for cures for diseases.
Sure.
And such like that. Now, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
And Superman cures cancer.
Yeah. And they don't play up that off. I mean, they always have Superman be clever, but they don't play up the fact that he has this super capacity for learning.
Right.
You know, they have him like read a whole medical journal, and then he becomes a surgeon and stuff.
It's like movies about writers or people writing is boring. You know, they're typing on the newspaper.
But it's exciting because it's about a creative person who's tortured, and
Yeah, but you don't. Him writing isn't interesting. What happens around that is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe find an idea and all that, but it's hard to make that saleable as a story.
They find a way.
Yeah. There probably would be no war. There's a Superman because you just stop him. Hey, knock it off.
Yeah.
Okay, Superman.
And then, but also, it's like, then how does Superman not become super fascist?
Yeah, well, he's super good.
It's like he keeps wars from happening, but then like leaves people to their own, doesn't take over their governments.
Yeah, sometimes a war is needed to get rid of a bad guy. So we don't leave Hitler in power.
I like how they've kind of like explained away how Superman, Dr. Fate and the Spectre didn't just stop World War II because the Spear of Destiny kept them. Because of the power.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If you are magic based or magic affects you, the Spirit of Destiny could cause Hitler to be able to control you. So they had to stay out of Europe.
Right. Oh man, but that was a really huge space program too. With Superman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff.
I mean, we'd have huge leaps, technological leaps that would normally take centuries in decades or less years.
Yeah. At least a nice Superman. If it's an evil Superman, who knows?
Yeah. Well, it would be like, what if Zod took over?
Right.
He'd kill everybody.
Would suck, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you in the funny pages.